So guys, we have some information regarding the Sony 4K or Sony 4.5 or as they've affectionately called it, Sony Neo. Someone really loves the Matrix, don't they? Morpheus, Neo, Xbox was called the One. So yeah, interesting. But anyway, guys, we're going to talk about it right after this intro and possibly give Sony a suggestion on how they can talk to Microsoft about secret keeping because they're terrible at it. So guys, stay tuned after the intro. We'll talk about Neo, the console, not the character. So, in the worst kept industry secret ever, we not only have specs on Neo, but we also have a price and pretty much everything. Way to go, Sony. Please talk to Microsoft regarding secret keeping because they're a lot better at this than you guys are. I'm not even sure this is not an intentional leak. I'm not quite sure. Maybe they're thinking they can get some pre-orders in or something before Xbox. Who knows? But guys, we have some information regarding this. Now, the original PS4 has 8 Jaguar cores at 1.6 megahertz. It's actually Neo's coming out at 8 Jaguar cores, so that's the same, but at 2.1 gigahertz. So it is about 0.5 gigahertz better. The GPU is an AMD 16 CUS at 800 megahertz, where the GPU on the Neo is an improved AMD GCN 36 CUs at 911 megahertz, and the memory in it is going from 8 gigabytes to at 176 to 8 gigabytes at 218. So it is slightly better. It might sound like there's a big difference in it, but personally, in my opinion, it's a little bit better. It's sort of like putting a supercharger on a V6. It's still a V6, but it's just slightly faster. It's got a little bit more oomph. What this means for everybody with the Sony 4. Basically, your games are still going to be coming out in Sony 4 mode, or base mode as they're affectionately calling it, which I have a big issue with, but anyway. Then your games will then come out with what they also call a Neo mode. Now, this Neo mode will obviously help with frame rate or your graphics or whatever it may be. It's up to the devs to obviously decide. So, for example, if you come out with Fallout and the graphics are average looking, for example, you can flick it to Neo mode if you've got one of these Sony Neos, and then that'll allow you to go through and obviously boost up the graphics by adding more processor and memory and everything like that to the components. Now, keeping in mind with this, guys, it is obviously going to be up to the devs to release a patch for all the old games. So while I'm talking about Fallout there, for example, it doesn't necessarily mean all of your old games are going to be able to do this. Obviously, it's something that the devs are going to have to go back and then release the patch or the option, something they can put in the settings to allow you to flick it between base mode or Neo mode. And I presume not every dev is going to do that, so obviously don't automatically think, hey, I've got some game that came out 2 years ago, I'm going to flick it to Neo mode because the option mightn't necessarily be there. Now, apart from that, obviously the Sony 4K or Neo or whatever you want to call it will also upscale to 4K. Big thing, obviously, if you have a 4K TV. If you don't, obviously not going to be relevant whatsoever because it's not going to make any difference. So, apart from that, guys, basically that's the only real difference. We do have a price. It is apparently going to be at $399 US. What that means in Australia is probably close to $600. And what that means for your existing PlayStation 4 consoles, at the moment, checking out GameSpot, they're around the $350. Probably find they'll drop around the $300. Maybe on special around the $250 to $300 mark, depending on if it's a special or not. So that's great news for everybody that doesn't have a PlayStation 4 at the moment. Even if you do have one, and obviously if you don't have one and you wanted to upgrade, you might also be able to check out a few, like for example Gumtree or whatever the American counterpart is, because I imagine when Neo comes out, a few of the people selling their old PlayStations 4 will obviously want to offload it to obviously get the new one. Now guys, apart from that, obviously, look, we don't have any information regarding Microsoft's counterpart. We know there's 2 things that are coming out regarding it. There's 2 patents or something in the works, but we don't know any information regarding that at the moment. We're still obviously going to be getting more details from E3. I don't know what PlayStation's going to be releasing because we seem to know everything between now and then. Maybe they'll give us a first look at it. Who knows? But obviously we'll just have to wait for E3 and see what PlayStation's got up their sleeves. Let us know in the comment section below, guys. What do you think about the PlayStation Neo? Is it enough to make you want to change from the 4 to the 4K or Neo? Or are you going to keep your existing 4 system? Let me know in the comment section below. If this video is helpful, please click a great big thumbs up, guys. I appreciate it every time you do that. If this video isn't helpful, please leave me in a comment section below why not. Just don't give me a thumbs down, it's annoying. And apart from that, guys, remember to subscribe. We're trying to keep everybody up to date on what we know. And apart from that, gamers, stay gaming and I will see you playing games. Have a great night. Enjoy.